sometimes the woman everyone likes is the easiest woman to exploit, because approval can look protective while quietly stripping away power. She gets invited, trusted, confided in, and thanked. Yet somehow she is still the one overlooked when real decisions happen. That contradiction confuses people because being liked feels like influence, until you realize influence is not the same thing at all. In many offices, likability opens doors just far enough to keep you useful, but not far enough to keep you safe. And women learn this late, usually after years of being dependable, pleasant, flexible, and suddenly very easy to bypass publicly. Here's what actually happens. The more people enjoy your presence, the less they notice what you would cost to lose. If your value is packaged as comfort, people consume it casually, like office lighting, calendar reminders, or emotional cleanup services. They appreciate you, but appreciation is cheap when it comes from people who never intend to share status, protection, or control. Being liked can become a trap when your social role is warmth, not authority, reassurance, not consequence, support, not direction. The office starts experiencing you as emotionally convenient, which sounds flattering until you realize convenient people are rarely defended upward. They call you collaborative because you absorb friction, translate moods, smooth awkward meetings, and keep unstable personalities feeling respected daily. What makes this worse is that women are often rewarded socially for reducing tension, then punished professionally for lacking edge. So you become the person managers trust with morale, onboarding, cleanup, and handholding, but not with visibility or succession. You get the side work that proves maturity, while someone louder, sharper, or politically protected gets the work that proves leadership. And because people like you, they assume you will understand, adjust, stay professional, and not make the moment uncomfortable afterward. That is one of the hidden rules of modern workplaces. The person who creates the least interpersonal cost often loses negotiating power. Why? Because leverage depends on consequences, and consequences only matter when other people believe you will impose them if necessary. If everyone experiences you as endlessly understanding, they stop calculating the risk of disappointing you, sidelining you, or misreading you. That is not because you are weak, it is because your image is doing silent work against your actual interests. And image is everything when promotions, restructures, performance reviews, and layoffs are shaped inside conversations you never hear directly. A lot of women think, if they like me, they will vouch for me. But liking does not automatically create advocacy. People advocate when your advancement benefits them, when your absence hurts them, or when your authority feels already socially legitimate. Being well-liked often secures affection from peers, but promotions are usually decided by people measuring risk, optics, and hierarchy. And from that angle, the woman who feels easiest to disappoint can become the easiest woman to delay again. She will understand the budget issue. She will understand the timing. She will understand the reorganization. That expectation becomes permission. Meanwhile, the less agreeable coworker may trigger discomfort, but discomfort creates urgency, and urgency often gets mistaken for importance. This is the part nobody warns you about. Offices do not simply reward value. They reward perceived political cost. The person who might escalate, leave, expose confusion, or challenge a narrative often gets managed carefully, even if privately disliked. The person who keeps being gracious gets managed casually because gracious people signal that preserving relationships matters more than preserving position. That is why some women are adored in the building and still have no real protection when a manager turns on them. The goodwill was real, but it was shallow. It lived in personal sentiment, not in institutional commitment at all. And shallow goodwill collapses fast when your boss starts shaping a different story about your attitude, judgment, or collaboration. Once narrative enters the room, likability becomes fragile because most coworkers protect themselves before they protect your reputation. They may text you privately. They may say this feels unfair. They may even call you amazing afterward. But when the promotion slate changes or your meeting invite disappears, private sympathy does not interrupt public power. This is especially brutal for women who built their career identity around being the sane one, the helpful one, the easy one. Because the very behaviors that made them feel respected often trained everyone else to expect endless access without reciprocal accountability. You answer late-night Slack messages. You rescue timelines. You explain messy decisions to frustrated teammates. You humanize bad management. Then the same leadership that leaned on your emotional labor describes you as supportive, but not quite strategic enough. Why? Because support work is remembered as personality, while power work is remembered as leadership, even when both save the team. Women see this during performance reviews all the time. The language sounds positive, but the ceiling is already built. You are dependable, trusted, thoughtful, collaborative, empathetic, steady under pressure. Then comes the sentence that quietly destroys leverage. You just need to be more visible. You need to speak up more. You need stronger executive presence. What they mean is simpler. We like what you do for the system, but we do not picture you controlling it. And once that picture sets, every interaction gets filtered through it, including your ideas, boundaries, ambition, and frustration. Suddenly, directness feels sharp coming from you. Normal disagreement feels emotional. Efficiency feels cold. Confidence feels strangely threatening. That is because people accepted your warmth as identity, not style. The moment you shift, they experience betrayal, not adaptation. Here's the quiet part. Likability can lock a woman into a role she never consciously agreed to play. And if she tries to renegotiate that role later, the system treats the renegotiation as a personality problem. This is why boundary setting sometimes triggers soft retaliation instead of respect, especially after a long period of being endlessly available. You stop answering instantly, and suddenly the tone changes. Meetings happen without you. Slack threads go strangely quiet. Nobody says you are being punished. That would be too obvious. They simply start redistributing access around you. Then if you react, your reaction becomes evidence. Now the issue is not exclusion. The issue is your professionalism. This is how image management replaces honest feedback in many organizations. Nobody addresses power directly. They describe tone instead. Tone is a useful weapon because it is subjective, deniable, gendered, and almost impossible to disprove once repeated upward. A manager can block your promotion without attacking your output. She just raises vague concerns about readiness, fit, or style. HR can formalize that fog beautifully. They document patterns, encourage reflection, and convert your confusion into administrative language. Now you are defending yourself inside a story designed without you, using standards flexible enough to keep moving. And if you were the liked one, the collaborative one, the trusted one, you may not see the trap early. Because nothing feels wrong at first. People smile. They praise your attitude. They call you invaluable. That word matters. Invaluable often means the system wants unlimited value from you without the cost of officially elevating you. It means you became functionally important while remaining structurally disposable, which is one of the most dangerous positions in any office. You keep the team running, but the team can still narrate your replacement if leadership decides your image no longer fits. And once likability is your main currency, you become terrified of spending it on anything that looks like resistance. So you soften emails, over-explain decisions, absorb disrespect, and keep proving you are reasonable, even while losing ground. Here is the deeper problem. If your strategy is being impossible to dislike, you become incredibly easy to manage. Not because you lack intelligence, but because your self-protection gets tied to maintaining emotional permission from other people. And people sense that. They sense when your boundaries are negotiable if the relationship might be damaged. The coworker who fears disapproval gets loaded with extra work. The manager who fears conflict gets protected from consequences. This is why women can become beloved across a company and still have no sponsor when succession planning begins. Everyone says she is amazing. Almost nobody says she should have authority over budget, headcount, or strategic direction. That gap between admiration and authority is where careers quietly stall, especially for women trained to keep everyone comfortable. So what do you do without turning into someone fake, cold, or theatrically aggressive? You change what your behavior signals. You stop treating likability as protection and start treating it as a secondary effect, never the primary goal. Warmth is useful. Clarity is safer. Respect without dependence is safer. Documentation is safer. Controlled visibility is safer. That means saying fewer cushioning words before direct statements, especially in meetings where your message gets judged before your data. It means letting pauses exist after you speak, instead of rushing to soothe the room back into comfort. It means documenting priorities, decisions, and scope so your labor cannot be converted into invisible support work. It means noticing who praises you privately but stays silent publicly because that person likes you without protecting you. And that changes everything, because once you see the gap, you stop mistaking emotional warmth for strategic backing. You also become more careful about fake mentorship, especially from leaders who adore your attitude but keep your ambition blurry. They say you have so much potential. They say your time is coming. They say, keep doing what you are doing. But real support has fingerprints. It creates exposure, names your impact in rooms you cannot enter, and ties you to opportunity. If someone likes you but keeps you unofficial, interpretable, and easy to reroute, that relationship is not protective. It is simply pleasant. And pleasant relationships can coexist beautifully with career containment, especially inside polished, conflict-avoidant cultures. This matters even more during layoffs and reorganizations, when companies suddenly reveal which relationships were sentimental and which were structural. The woman everybody loved may still be cut first if leadership sees her as morale support rather than power infrastructure. And that realization hurts because it forces a brutal reframe. Affection inside a company is not the same as standing. Standing is different. Standing means your absence creates operational, reputational, or political disruption people cannot casually absorb. Standing means your voice alters decisions, your name carries weight upward, and your treatment sends a message to observers. Light people are welcomed. People with leverage are accounted for. Those are not the same category, and pretending otherwise is costly. A woman can be charming, respected, warm, and still learn to signal that access to her has terms. She can stop volunteering clarity where leadership benefits from ambiguity. She can stop rescuing people committed to misunderstanding her. She can speak in ways that leave a record. She can make contributions visible before someone else translates them downward. She can notice when being easy to work with slowly became being easy to overlook, delay, and contain. And most importantly, she can stop feeling guilty when clarity makes certain people less comfortable around her. Because some discomfort is not a sign you did something wrong. It is a sign the old script broke. The old script said your safety lived in being pleasant enough, helpful enough, understanding enough, liked enough. But workplaces do not protect women for being easy to appreciate. They protect women who are harder to marginalize. So if they like you, fine. Just never let their comfort with you become the price of your leverage.